everybody, my name is Emu, and as you can probably tell from the title, today I'll be making a video reading through my University of California essays. And as you can probably also tell from the title, I was accepted as a University of California Berkeley Regents Scholar. And for all of you who don't really know what that is, because trust me, I was on the same boat. I didn't know what Regents or the Regents Scholarship was until I was actually accepted as a candidate for the program. Why Berkeley? Anyways, okay, so it's a scholarship that the University of California chooses to give to about 200 students of their incoming class, and this accounts for, to be honest, I don't know how much percentage. I think I read somewhere that it might have been about 2 or 3% of their incoming class. I might be completely wrong, somebody correct me in the comments. Once you're accepted as a candidate, you go through an interview process in which they bring you on campus and they go through a short 30-minute interview with a professor in your intended major field, and then from there they decide whether or not they want you as a Regents Scholar. So there's a lot of perks about being a Regents Scholar, especially at the University of California at Berkeley. You get your first choice in all your classes, you get really nice dorms, you get I think about a $2,500 scholarship per year. You have a one-on-one faculty mentor throughout all 4 years of college. And honestly, I'm just rattling off things that I read from the University of California website because, to be honest, I didn't accept this offer as a University of California Berkeley Regents Scholar, much to the disappointment of my parents. So you're probably asking, why did I choose to turn down this offer? Honestly, it does sound pretty good. And honestly, I would have accepted this offer had the University of Chicago not given me a lot of financial aid. So honestly, UChicago, if you're watching this, shout out to the financial aid office for keeping me in school. Without the financial aid office, I'm going to have to drop out or transfer out. So UChicago, FinAid, please pull through. I have a few more years, let's make this work. For anybody who doesn't know, the University of California gives you the option to write 4 essays out of 8 different topics, and I had chosen topic number 1, Topic 2, Topic 7, and Topic 8. For anybody wondering what those are, Topic 1 asks you about your leadership experiences. Topic 2 asks you about your creative side. Topic 7 asks you about how you've made your school or your community a better. And then lastly, Topic 8 asks you what is the one thing that sets you apart from other candidates who are applying. So before I start, a little bit of disclaimer here. While I will be giving my advice and opinion throughout this video about the way that you should be constructing your University of California essays, none of these are actually any hard stone facts. None of these are definitely going to guarantee that you're going to get into the UC of your choice or that you're going to be a Regents Scholar, because God knows how they choose this. God knows why they wanted me as a Regents Scholar. You're going to listen to my essays and you might also be wondering the same thing. Why did they choose me? But at the end of the day, I will say that I did give my best in all of these essays, and I feel like it really communicated my personality. I was really true to who I was, and I didn't try to be somebody who I wasn't. Anyways, let's get to the good part of this video, or what y'all were here to watch for. I'll be reading through the 4 essays that I wrote during my application process at the University of California. And I actually didn't apply to all of the UCs. I actually only applied to 4, and these were Berkeley, UCLA, UC San Diego, and UC Davis. I got into all 4 of the UCs that I had applied for using these 4 essays. So I hope that you guys can at least take away something from what I had written, and if you have any questions about Regents or the application process, feel free to drop a few comments down below. I'll do my best to answer them, but keep in mind, I'm not actually a Regents Scholar anymore. I was only offered the scholarship, but I turned it down. UChicago, right? UChicago. Okay, so the first essay is going to be about the topic of leadership. I had never been the subject of a press conference before, and at first was a deer in headlights. Then I remembered my mission, informing the Taiwanese government of the importance of cultural exchange with the US, and I was on fire. I recounted my first day teaching in my classroom in Taiwan. I was bombarded with questions from my 4th graders. What's snow like? Have you met Michael Jordan? And my personal favorite, why are Americans so obsessed with Costco? Sharing my American life with the children from Jensan Elementary was enlightening. I returned to Taiwan, my parents' homeland, to teach again the following summer. The cultural contrasts allow me to look through 3D glasses tinted with red, white, and blue from both Taiwanese and American flags, seeing with perspectives intermixed from opposite points of the world. Standing in front of news cameras live streaming our conference, I firmly grabbed the microphone and declared that I am proud to explain winter weather, basketball, and Costco to the Taiwanese youth, but also proud to ask them for their lifestyles with typhoons, Zero Wang, and 7-Elevens. I am proud to be able to exchange experiences from opposite sides of the globe as an official ambassador for the program. Returning home, I founded a statewide youth group in California that collaborates with the Taiwanese government to foster a network of clubs for students to share and understand our culture. I guided discussions about bridging cultural differences as the delegate of our Model United Nations team, keen to develop resolutions that respect and promote global citizenship. Serving in the Bay Area, I led the Formosa Taiwanese Association of Student Ambassadors to delve into our advantages as children of two coasts and the powerful actions we can achieve by standing hand in hand with others of multicultural backgrounds. From registering mixed American voters at grocery stores to marching for DACA, I create and pursue opportunities that encourage ethnic tolerance in education. I envision that one day our flag will wave for every mixed American. And the reason I chose to write about this is because I believe it shows not only my leadership, but it was also a really great chance for me to show how important my culture is to me. In fact, right now I'm filming this video as I'm in Taiwan. I'm currently interning in Taiwan this summer and it's really hot. I actually just came back from work. That's why I look like a hot mess right now, so pardon all of that. But back to the essay. I think this was a really strong essay of mine because it starts off with a really strong anecdote. It dives the reader right into my story without trailing off about what exactly my leadership experience was. And something I keep telling students is that when you're writing your essays, you want to keep in mind that these readers have read many essays, hundreds and thousands before yours already. You want to make sure that yours stands out with an interesting story right from the get-go. Another thing is that actually while I was interning today, one of my coworkers from Australia, shout out to Cooper if you're watching, he was laughing through the entirety of my essays because he kept on saying how many cliches I was writing. He was talking about all the different forms of metaphors that I had sprinkled through all of my essays. And that's honestly my own writing style. It's something I find myself really guilty of doing all the time. Don't force yourself to write like that if that isn't your form of writing, but if it is, I think it's definitely a strength that you should play to because it really sprinkles in a lot of color and illustration to your pieces. So the second essay, or topic 2, asks you about your creative side. And for me, I decided to write about art, or quite literally the way I express myself through my creative outlet. 5-year-old me would approve of my collection of permanent Sharpies. Grasping rambunctious red, I streak it across a canvas sky, a first pigment on the field of waning white. Immediately following, mellow yellow and tuxedo black each leave blazing contrails. I do not retrace light pencil outlines or drafted sketches. The markers are my lion-hearted sally rides of the canvas, curving wide turns and carving valiant trails. I hold my breath until I click the cap back in place. Permanent marker art keeps my adrenaline pumping. Each marker is a vehicle of raw ambition where reverse is not an option. Its indelible path drives my will to be fearless, making moves while simultaneously planning what comes next. The only direction is forward. Gripping my markers, I defy the laws of physics and wheel time. The moment the nib touches down, I am looking into the future and my completed piece, mindful of every turn towards its evolution. I factor my environment into my art. Whether the television behind me reports harrowing mass shootings or Catalonia's independence declarations, my marker captures each galvanizing detail. It records a history that never stops. I approach research with the same fearlessness, anticipating the revolutionary discoveries that my risks approached. Like marker nibs, I directed statistical t-tests and literature review in directions that advanced my data analysis with Professor Frederick of the Yale School of Management, pushing me to the front lines of real-time data responses. When investigating economic game theory with Professor Kamada of Berkeley's Haas School of Business, I dived headfirst into political practices and how campaign practices behaved like oligopolistic markets, leading my marker into uncharted terrain. The masterpiece, 3 publications, and an ignited curiosity for economic cross-applications. Every time I uncup a marker, I am declaring unprecedented strokes. When my marks stray from my plan, I incorporate and capitalize on mistakes. They cannot dissuade me from moving forward. Art taught me to live without looking back, boldly investing my all into informed courage, meeting challenges, and creating until I come out the other side, breathless and anxious to go again. So like my first essay, you're going to notice that I do have quite a lot of cliches going on in here. I mean, I'm defying the laws of physics and I'm wielding time with my permanent Sharpies. But as we all know, that's not quite literal. And another reason why I actually really love this essay, besides the fact that it's about art and art pretty much takes over my entire life, I really love this essay because it starts off talking about myself as a child and how I've always been invested in art. But then it goes into how art has taught me to live fearlessly and to never turn around. And that's honestly why I also love doing the art that I do. If you go through my portfolio, I do a lot of single line marker art in which you quite literally use a marker and you take one line throughout your entire piece and you don't turn back. And I feel like doing this form of art has really taught me to always be looking forward and to never turn around and to turn every mistake that I make into an opportunity, because they aren't actually mistakes. Quote Bob Ross or something around here, but you can turn each mistake into a great learning opportunity, and that's what I believe my art was able to teach me, and I thought it was something I was really able to portray in this essay as well. And at this point, I think this also comes to another piece of advice that I have for everybody who's writing a college essay, whether it's for the UC application or for the Common App. It's that even if you do talk about an extracurricular activity in one of your essays, you want to really dive deep into it. You don't want to kind of skirt around and talk about all the different experiences that you've had and what makes you a qualified candidate, because the person reading your essay can read all of this information just by going through the extracurricular activity section of your application. You don't want to have them reading through your resume again, so you should really take this opportunity to talk about a specific experience and what you learned from it, how you grew, and how you can contribute that onto whatever campus you're applying to. Another trend you'll be noticing in all my essays is that I don't just answer the topic. Instead, I answer the topic, like I talk about my creativity, but then I also talk about how this creativity expands outside of my art. I talk about how it expands outside my creative outlet. So like how I talk about my research opportunities, I discuss how this fearlessness transfers from marker art into my study in marketing and behavior economics. All of this stuff I feel like made my essay really strong, because it's not just how I'm creative, it also talks about how I'm able to translate these skills into other parts of my life and therefore bring value onto the campus. Well, hey everybody, at this point I had realized that if I kept the video going on, it's going to be a very long video, like 20 minutes long, and no one really wants to listen to college essays for 20 minutes. So I'm going to be splitting this into a part 1 and a part 2. If you stick around, you'll be able to see my part 2, which should be coming out very soon. It's going to be going over the last 2 University of California essays that I had written, as well as a few of my final thoughts. And yeah, so stick around and I'll see you guys all soon. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked anything you saw, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below in the comments. And I hope you guys can like and subscribe so you can see my next video. Thank you all and have a great rest of your day.